Hi everyone and welcome to Story Talks. It is Tess from State Library Victoria and today I'm joined by Auslan interpreter Susan. Hi Susan! And before I introduce our guest, I would like to sincerely acknowledge the traditional custodians of Australia, always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. And now, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome the multi-award winning children's author and poet of books such as The Incredible Freedom Machines, Kindred, and the newly released Bindi, and 2020 New South Wales Aboriginal Woman of the Year. What an achievement. Curly Saunders, yay!
Hello, thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to join you all. Didjurigura ni Boringiling for Al Yowandui. Thank you, ancestors, for the strong dreaming you provided us today. And now acknowledge Mirani Gananugang Tharawal Madung Boringiling Yangu. I'm acknowledging that I'm on Tharawal lands today. So all the way up on the south coast, but also here with you. And this is Dustin. Dusty's joining us this morning. He's my writing rabbit.
Oh, we should all have writing rabbits.
We should.
Well,
writing rabbit.
Welcome, Curly and Dustin. Now, to kick things off, we have a question from a young reader.
Hi, Curly. My name's Ruben. And I was wondering, where did you grow up and who told you the best stories?
Oh, thank you so much. That's a great question. I grew up on Gundungara land, which is a First Nations community that spans from the Blue Mountains through the Barragorang Valley to Goulburn. So it's beautiful, mountainous bush land with lots of rivers and water holes for swimming in. And I spent a lot of my time in the bush. The best storytellers were my dad and my mum and my nan and my pop and my aunties and my uncles. And storytelling was always something deeply ingrained in our childhood. So I've always been a storyteller in some way, I think.
Ooh, so many amazing people to tell you beautiful stories. Curly, is there a story from your childhood that always mesmerized you and has stayed close to your heart even today?
I have two on my bookshelf. I'm not sure if you've read Where the Wild Things Are, but everybody needs this book. It's absolutely beautiful. And also The Rabbits was one of the first stories that I read in the classroom in my primary years. It's by one of my favorite authors, John Marsden, and one of my favorite illustrators, Sean Tan, who is now an author as well. And it explores First Nations history and colonial history in Australia. So it's a very truth-telling kind of book, but beautifully illustrated, and one I really value.
Thanks for sharing those books with us, Curly. You've written 3 books now. When did you realize that you wanted to make stories your life?
I started writing my very first picture book when I was 19, and I sent it over with a stream of kind of curious illustrations to Sean Tan, who was the illustrator from that last book I showed you. And he gave me some feedback. So I had just started my primary education teaching degree. I was becoming a teacher and reading lots of children's picture books in the classroom, and I started writing poetry mostly. And The Incredible Freedom Machines came out when I was 27. I wrote it 4 years before that, yeah. And I sent it off to Matt Otley and said, hey, Matt, you don't know me, but will you illustrate my book? And he said, you know what, sure, I'd love to. So my journey into publishing started early. In my late teens. It was spurred on by teachers who had taught me during school and high school and encouraged me to pursue creative arts and writing. But it's unfolding all of the time and taking new forms all of the time. And yeah, I love to, if I can't write a story, I love to paint one or play music or bake one. I like to move my body every day, and all of those things feel like storytelling to me as well.
So many different ways to make a story. I like the idea of baking a story. So you're also an educator and an artist, as well as being a writer. You're good at so many things. But when you were a kid, was there anything that you found really difficult and had to work really hard to get better at?
Oh, definitely. I think, writing is something that I've always had to work hard at to improve and become better at. artistry, I love painting, but you know, practicing is what allows us to improve. And I wouldn't be the writer I am today if I hadn't written all of those drafts. You know, there's a lot of stories that don't make it to the shelf. And I think that practice is so important in perfection of a skill. And I don't know if we ever truly make things perfect. So I like the continual growth. But for me, it was hockey. I wasn't awesome at hockey as a kid, but I really wanted to be a hockey-roo. I went on to play high-level representative and state hockey. And at the moment, it's singing. I love singing. I'm terrified of singing in front of people, but I'm trying to be more and more brave and sing with lots of friends.
Oh, good on you. Well, I think we have a really fantastic activity for the people watching, and it's to do with stories and where we might find them. And I'll hand over to you, Curly.
Thank you. Absolutely. We spoke earlier about how sometimes a story can take many different forms. You know, if I can't write a story, I like to paint one or bake or draw or move. So I'm wondering, can you move, paint, draw, play, sing, write, bake, or make a story of your own? It doesn't have to look the way that stories traditionally do. It can be however you would like to tell your story. I can't wait. Can't wait to hear how this goes, Tess.
Yes, I'm sure there will be many interesting story creations in all kinds of forms. Thank you for that, Curly. And stay tuned, everyone, for our second video where Curly is going to tell us about her new and very incredible book, Bindi. We'll see you then.